Good evening and welcome to the Buddy Martin Show. It's Halloween Eve, I suppose. I can never keep up with what day Halloween is. I guess maybe because it's not one of my favorite holidays. But tonight we'll have a little contest to see what you think about a few things, including your favorite candy, who you dress up as, etc., if that's what you want to do. Meanwhile, I'm a lot more concerned about what week it is for the Florida Gators, a very, very crucial game, one in which Billy Napier now finds himself without four starters. It just can't seem to get any better for the Gators. Two more starters out. We'll talk about that. And it's also time to talk about some celebrations like Ben Troupe, a member of the Florida Georgia Hall of Fame. We should talk about that. Something we don't very much. It's quite an honor. Ben will be here along with our usual cast of characters. Franz Beard tees it up tonight. And we'll hear from tonight. Lauren Meadows is off. And we'll get a chance to have Rob Browne on to catch up with what's going on with the SEC sidelines. So it's going to be a good night. Come join us. Give us your thoughts. And let's talk about the Florida Gators. And what's the emotion you use to describe how you feel about this Florida-Georgia game? In one word, what is it? Oh, come tell us. The Buddy Martin Show is now on the air.
Buddy Martin, call him up and tell him what you're thinking, but be kind because he's doing the best he can.
Better, stronger, faster.
Mama says that alligators are ornery because they got all them teeth but no toothbrush.
Hey, what if the voice calls while you're gone?
Take a message.
Bye!
You ready, champ?
I'm ready for this my whole life.
I'm incapable of small talk. But that's why you love me, right?
Kind of intimidating to be in the presence of so many great athletes.
Good evening and welcome to the program. It's, I guess, what day is Halloween? I never can get it right, but is it today, tonight? I don't know, but I know this is the week of Halloween. Usually always falls on the weekend of Florida, Georgia. And weird things do happen. I have a column out tonight talking about will weird things happen? Well, some weird things have already happened. I mean, can a guy get much worse luck than Billy Napier? I wrote about it tonight. In fact, what's the old saying about buzzard's luck? Buzzard's luck is when you can't find anything to eat and nothing will die. It seems like that's the case today. Learning about Billy's lost two more starters. His best defensive back and cornerback, Jason Marshall, out for the year. And then Trey Wilson, who at one time was the top wide receiver, out for the year. And he's already lost his starting quarterback, Graham Mertz. And we know the rest of the stuff that went on. Now, Montrell Johnson may be back. We'll see about that. But guy just can't get a break. Just can't get any luck. So jump on and give us your thoughts tonight. I asked earlier in the week, do we have the guts to pick Florida, even with that many points? The last time I heard the line had come down from 18.5 to 16. I'm not sure if that's current or not. You're better tuned to that than I am. Let me know. Jump on here and tell us. So tonight we talk about that, about the great honor. We never talk about this. I don't think I've ever talked about this show. The Florida Georgia Hall of Fame. And you think, well, what is that? Well, it's something that's been going on for quite a while. And it is kind of significant because it is the top game every year, Florida, Georgia. And, there are a lot of great athletes on both sides who have had big roles in that game. And it conjured up some memories for me, some players from long ago. I watched play, even as high school players, and I think it's wonderful. They are remembered. You have a memory, I'm sure, or two, of a player at the Florida, Georgia, and Ben Troupe is in that cast. He was selected to the Florida, Georgia Hall of Fame. We're going to talk to Ben in just a minute about that. And it's quite an honor. And sometimes these are the things that go by the wayside when people start dissing, forgetting about tradition. I'm a traditionalist. I still think we should remember the things that are important to us. Maybe nobody in New York cares about this, but we do. So give me your thoughts. I'll say good evening to all you folks out there. And thanks again for tuning in. We always appreciate that. A very loyal bunch as we have tonight. First name I see tonight when I click on is David Arnoff, my good buddy, David Arnoff. Those over in Destin, one of my guys. David Arnoff says one word. I ask what one word comes to mind when you think about Florida, Georgia. Are you excited? Are you scared? What is it? David says one word is rivalry. That's the word. So we've got some of your thoughts here tonight already. Thanks for jumping on. Ben will be here in just a minute. Let's see. Perry Mason, Toby Permanent. Toby's always on. Toby, great to see you. Thank you for the greetings. Perry Mason, you're right. Billy can't get any breaks. Now, look, I'm not making excuses for him, and I've been among the critics who have said the things he's done wrong, but is the guy ever going to get a break, for crying out loud? Perry Mason says, I'm all Gator, go Gators beat the leg humpers. And Perry Mason says, leg humpers is the word he thinks of. I think it's a Franz period word, as a matter of fact. So a few thoughts from you tonight as people sort of join the program. I want to talk for a second about the players on this roster. Many of you who follow the show know I've been a big fan of DJ Lagways. I was very delighted to see him step up in the Kentucky game and play so well, and how the team responded to him, how much better many of them played. And the fact is they do have some good players on this team. And when you get a player stepping up, it brings out the best in everyone. Now, it's too bad that Trey Wilson never got a chance to show what he can do because he's quite a receiver. But let's not forget a couple of guys who have come in and looked great. DK, Jared DK was quite a find, and and the guy that people are talking about, Elijah Badger, has really shown out lately in his skills. So sometimes when you get that kind of thing going on, you lose players, you get new ones who've been sitting there who wouldn't have gotten a chance if, in fact, someone hadn't gotten hurt. So it's sort of next man up. Plus, also, the running back situation, quite healthy. We still got Trayon Webb, Jacoby Jackson, Katie Daniels, etc. And, of course, the guy I love, Jaden Bow, who is just a terrific player. And I've been on him, as you know, since day one. So they're good players, but do they have enough to compete with the mighty Georgia Bulldogs, who are loaded? It's going to be a tough one, as I wrote today. You want to try to avoid the Bulldogs and Kirby's wrecker ball because he can wreck your team physically. I believe we've got our buddy Ben Troupe up there now. Let's go and see who that is. No, it's Brendan. Okay, Brendan, we'll come back to you. Thank you for popping on there. Here's all the names of people who are making comments. And I wanted to go also and say, if I can, and get my column tonight, talk to you about these guys. Did you see the injury list? This looks like a casualty list from the Mideast War. I mean, my goodness, this includes some questionable, but Graham Mertz, gone, out. Jakeem Jackson, DB, out. Jason Marshall, out for good, the best defensive back they've got. We mentioned Trey Wilson, wide receiver, out for the year. Defensive back, Aces Turner, showed a lot of potential, out. Khalil Jackson, wide receiver, been out for a while, out. Devon Manuel, offensive lineman, out. Roderick Henry, offensive lineman, out. Jamari Lyons, defensive lineman, out. Montreal Johnson, the running back, is questionable. R.J. Moten, linebacker, questionable. And Damian George, offensive lineman, is questionable. So, like I said, honestly, Billy's made his share of mistakes this year, this season, and he need not try to explain them now. But this is over the top. This is when you can't get anything. The ball doesn't bounce right for you or whatever. This is what this is. So, having said that, as I wrote in my column, I do think Florida will play well. I think they realized that they have got some skill and some players, and they when they played so well against Kentucky, and I think we're going to see one of their better efforts. So we'll get that and get that for you. Let me see here. Let me do this. Well, let me see. Let me see if I can go in here and find my commercial. Wait for Ben Troupe to join us any minute. We'll talk to this guy who's in the Florida Georgia Hall of Fame. And and when you think about who was, and I'm gonna give you some names of people that I see if you know who they are. I remember. I think I've seen something like 50 some Florida Georgia games. But anyway, we'll get your thoughts about this. Let's go do this, and we'll see if we can get our friend Jeffrey Meldon to talk about it. Meldon Law didn't mess around. You did something terrific for the Florida band, man. Tell me about it.
Well, about 3 years ago, our dear friend Freddie Wiebe comes to us and said, the University of Florida won't buy the band a box truck to move their equipment around in. And when they go to Florida State, they go to Jacksonville or whatever, they don't have any, they have to rent trucks and stuff like that. So we collaborated and we put together a deal where we provided them a beautiful big box truck, and we wrapped it and with Meldon Law and the UF band. And by the way, the UF band was voted the best band in the country in August of 2023.
All right. Thanks very much, Jeffrey Meldon, doing many good things there and supporting the band, well, the school. He's a good one, and also practices law. If you need help, I encourage you to give them a call. They're in Ocala, Gainesville, Wilson Lake City, places that if you're a frequent, you will want to look them up because they can help you a great deal. I think we've got a guy named Troupe on here, I believe. Let's see if he snuck on while I wasn't looking. And let's see here. There he is. Is that Ben?
That's me. It is me.
Good to see you. Yeah. Nice to see you. Thanks for joining. I wanted to talk tonight about it. All the years we've done this show together, we've never really talked about an honor that I know you are very proud of. And I looked it up tonight and started looking up and talking about some of these people that I think that their names are kind of like, let me give you some names, folks. See if you know any of these names. I won't go too far back. And you know about these people, and you've heard of them. Some of you might not have. And of course, Ben Troupe is one of those. I have the whole list somewhere here of all the members, both of Florida and Georgia. We won't worry about them. But this Ben's down there with Kerwin Bell and Ray Graves, Shane Matthews, Steve Spurrier, Danny Werfel, Jack Lundblad. Here's some guys I want to talk about. Rick Caceres. Anybody know who he is? And here's a guy that I really like a lot, and I know because I helped kind of discover him, Larry Dupree. I don't know why they got Dupe. That's what his nickname, Larry Dupree. And here's a guy that goes way back, Chuck Hunsinger. It's a running back I'd never got to see play, and really only read about him way back when. He was so good, they wrote a song about him, Hunsinger the Humdinger. And then Charlie the Pratt, a great player for many years, and Richard Trapp, and Fred Taylor, and Carlos Alvarez. There's quite a name list of people there. And Ben, I know you're really proud being a boy from Swainsboro, being on that list. What's it mean to you, and what's that like? And tell us what that whole thing is about.
Oof. It means everything, buddy, because I wasn't a person that came to college that cared about legacy. I wasn't a guy that was chasing accolades or records. I wasn't doing that. And to be quite honest with you, buddy, I didn't even know it was a Florida Georgia Game Hall of Fame. I didn't even know that. Listen, I was a true football player. I was on the John Mackey Award list. I didn't even know who John Mackey was. But the thing about it is, buddy, it's one of the most rewarding things ever, because all I could control was when I played. You know, I don't know who do the voting. I didn't try to move into their neighborhood so I can get that recognition. I remember 2015, Chris Leak and Jabbar Gaffney went in. and I saw it on Twitter. It was Twitter at the time, it's X now. And I said, wait a minute, it's Florida Georgia Game Hall of Fame? And it was like, yeah. And to me, it like hit me because I'm not the type of player that the reason why I didn't come into college expecting this stuff, buddy, because that's the only thing leading to disappointment, expectations. So the last thing I'm gonna do is to say, I want to be in the Florida Georgia Game Hall of Fame. And when it happened, it floored me because I think about the players I played with. I think about, I went in, I know that Fred Weary and Mike Peterson are going in this year. And I think about the guys that came in after me, and I'm like, what? It's crazy to me because I just played. I enjoyed it. Georgia brought the best out of me. I hope they enjoy playing against me as much as I enjoy playing against them. But when you mention those names, Steve, I'm sitting right beside for the Florida Georgia game. It's the Florida Georgia game luncheon. They, you go there, you sit there. It's me and Chris Chandler. Chris Chandler was to the left of me. His name escaping me now. What's the former AD name? His name is slipping my mind right now. Florida.
Well, Ray Graves was the head coach.
No. That who Scott
Foley?
Foley? Yeah, Jeremy Foley. It just slipped my mind. Jeremy Foley, right? And to the right of him was Vern Lundquist. This is who was at my Florida. But when I looked out and I see former teammates, I see, Mike Spiegler and guys, it hit me, buddy, because I'm just a country boy, man. Like, sweet tea and shade trees for life. Like, people look at my life and think I need that stuff, and I didn't. And when I'm doing my speech and I'm trying to keep the tears from coming out of my eyes, and there go my daughter, and there go my nieces and nephews, there go my brother and sister and mom and dad, and trying to hold back tears, I'm looking at people who helped groom me at Florida. They got about tears in their eyes. Jeremy Foley, he just speaking to me the whole time, telling me how proud he was of me and how being you the type of players. He said, I know we recruited the player, but we benefited from the person. We wanted the person. And buddy, every time I think about it, because I heard John Gruden say something. He said, Hall of Fame means you the greatest of all time. You enshrined. Like, that's forever. And I remember when they said, who are you going to bring on the field with you? Because you only get to bring one person on the field, which they honor you before the game. And I took my brother with me because to me, I wanted him to have his moment. Yes, they recognize me, but they're going to see him standing next to me because, my brother's in the Marines. My brother had a real job. He put it on the line for the world, people that know him or don't know him. And we walk out on the field. My brother, once a Marine, always Marine. Buddy, my brother gets starstruck by nobody. Buddy, we walk on the field. Who do we see? Tim Tebow. My brother lost it. I didn't even know who my brother was looking at. He about yanking my clothes off. I'm like, what? He said, that go Tim Tebow right there. And mind you, Tim Tebow, he got all the cheerleaders around him. He got his little tight, medium black shirt on to show off the muscles. Tim Tebow don't know me from a can of paint, right? He don't know because I'm older than Tim. Tim just took the picture with us. He got that $1 million smile. And I just remember them saying, from the University of Florida, tight end. And I just, my daughter and my mom and dad, they up there, in the press box. They gave us a nice little box. And the funniest thing about that moment was not me getting enshrined. It was not getting recognized. They came off of a commercial break. And my nephew Ryan, his daddy went to Georgia. So Ryan, my nephew's daddy went to Georgia, played at Georgia. They had a Ryan, my nephew Ryan, my niece Jalen, and my daughter Yaya. They all had on orange Florida Gator shirts. And they showed them on the Jumbotron. And they couldn't have been they couldn't have been, they was like 5, 6, and 7. They see themselves on the Jumbotron. And they get to dancing, and the crowd get to clapping. And to me, that moment superseded. Right there. The two moments that superseded was that moment, and when I'm sitting at the main table, and I look down the crowd, and I can see my little girl, and we just playing with each other. To me, that because like I say, I thank God that He used me as the one to get to do it for the Troupe family. But I do it for them, man. It's so when I saw the video of Mike Peterson getting told that he going to the Florida Georgia Game Hall of Fame, being a Florida boy, right there, Newberry, games are right there down the road. I know what it means to Mike P. Like he gonna be all professional. They brought his jersey. He gonna be professional. But buddy, I guarantee you this. I compare that feeling to when you won the award. And because of who was in the category, you was like, they said, buddy, you won. And the people that was in your category showed up, not because they lost, but because they want to shake your hand, buddy. Great job, man. And to me, that's the part that humbles me the most is I say, look, I benefited from the best coaches, players, teammates, faculty, staff. So when I think about the award, it humbles me because, Frank, no, it wasn't Franz. It was Lauren or somebody in Jacksonville. Like, boy, I saw you in. I can't remember. I think they put you in the airport. It's not where they put your face or whatever. But it's the best, buddy, because my three grandparents, my three grandfathers, my three grandmothers, one being a great grandmother, they looking down and they saying, "That's my grandson. That's my great grandson." Like that, because I don't remember all the games and the players, every situation. But to get voted in, I'm part of the 2000 recruiting class in Florida. I got recruited by Steve Spurrier. Lawson Holland, may he rest in paradise. That's who recruited me. Lawson Holland recruited me to come to Florida. And now, no matter what, when someone says, "Hey, man, you ever want to be in the Hall of Fame?" And I used to be like, "No." But the greatest game there is to me, if you're from Florida, the greatest game is Florida State.
Yeah.
I get it. If you're from Georgia, it's Florida, Georgia, Florida.
Yeah.
The fact that I'm in the Hall of Fame, that's a culmination of so many great people around me. And like I say, buddy, it humbles me to this day because that's the first time I met Paul Feinbaum. I'm on the Paul Feinbaum show, crazy thing. But yeah, man, and being on this show, buddy, you get to help me bring back these memories because I feel like a lot of people, I will look at my career when my career is done. My career is long gone, and I appreciate. But to look back on it and say, "Hey, Ben, how would you describe your career?" And I would just say the same thing I said that day. Bless, man.
All right, I'm gonna test you right now. I'm gonna give you some. I know you'll be getting goosebumps. I'm gonna read a bunch of names off. I'll try to get through real fast, and you come back and tell me which ones really gave you goosebumps. All right, ready? Ernest Gray, Joe Hayden, Andre Caldwell, Trey Burton, Kewan Ratliff, Seatron Faces, Jarvis Jones, Brandon Spikes, Percy Harwin, Alex Browne, Tim Tebow, Lino Shepard, Jeff Chandler, Chris Lee, Jabbar Gaffney, Lewis Oliver, James Bates, Javon Kirsch, Lindy Infante, John L. Williams, Doug Dickey, Nat Moore, Kevin Carter, Wilbur Marshall, Scott Brantley, Lawrence Wright, Rex Grossman, Willie Jackson, Doug Johnson, Galen Hall, Lee McGriff, Ike Gilliard. That's just half of them. Which one of those names will give you goosebumps?
The ones that give me goosebumps, Rex Grossman, teammate. Alex Browne, teammate. Andre Caldwell, teammate. Jabbar Gaffney, teammate. Chris Lee, teammate. It's like Alex Browne don't mind me saying this. I interviewed Alex Browne on my show, 84 Reasons. And he asked me, not during the show. He said, "Troupe, man, how did you get into the Florida Georgia game?" And Ernest Graham, teammate, right? Mm-hmm. Trey Burton got a chance to interview. It's crazy, man. Like to beat Kerwin Bell, Javon Curse, Wilbur Marshall, Steve Spurrier, Chris Chandler, Joe Hayden, Percy Harvin, Tim T. Stop playing with me. And the thing is, no matter what, as a player, you want to feel like you were worthy of wearing that orange and blue. Like you want to feel like, man, I want to know that I did it justice, right? Mm-hmm. And when you get those names that you just mentioned, buddy, we all could be in the same room. We ain't gonna all have the same stories. Everybody wasn't all Americans and all SECs and national champions. But that game in Jacksonville, man, it was something. And like I said, to be mentioned, I'm interviewing Ernest Graham, and I can see his bust behind him. I can see it, and I'm just saying to myself, there is no feeling in the world like getting a call saying, "Congratulations, so and so,"
Yeah.
You have just been inducted into. So I met Fred Weary my freshman year. We went to the Sugar Bowl. He was playing for the New Orleans Saints, and he's standing out in front of the facility because we practiced at the Saints facility. And I'm like, dude, you're Fred Weary. He's like, yeah. I'm like, you are Kevin Carter. I got to play with Kevin Carter 2 times in the NFL, with the Bucks and with the Titans. There is no greater human being than a guy like Kevin Carter. So Jabbar Gaffney, when I interviewed him, he said something to me. It humbled me because, Jabbar had, Coach Spurrier told him he got, inducted to the University of Florida Athletic Hall of Fame. Mm-hmm. We was interviewing him, and Jabbar grew his hair out. We just reminiscing on old times. But he looks at me and said, Troupe, you next. He said, because, boy, you were the truth. You were a beast. Let me tell you something. I don't care what no player says. When other players validate you, you did. Because, buddy, just like when your peers in the journalist realm, when they validate you, you did it. So, hey, I'm just going to say to Fred Weary, to Mike Peterson, to future inductees, have your moment. Have your moment. Enjoy yourself. Chris Chandler's parent, Chris Chandler is from Jacksonville. His parents went to Georgia. They only rooted for Florida the 5 years he went to Florida. And as soon as they left, they took that Florida stuff off and put the Georgia stuff back on. And he's the greatest kicker in Florida history. Yeah. Talk about life coming at you. So, hey, man, shout out to all the inductees, both past, present, and future. It's the greatest in the world, buddy. Greatest in the world.
Great. We're going to have Franz on here in a bit. We've got Rob Browne standing by. I'm going to give you a little broader topic here. I don't know how Halloween is. It's not a big deal for me. My kids were small, fine, but it is Halloween. I never know what day it's going to be on. I'm not sure, but I know it's coming up this week. And I'm going to ask you 2 real basic questions. Number one, I asked a question of the listeners. If you were going to go as a Florida coach, past, present coach, on Halloween night, who would you want to go as? Okay, I'll get your thoughts. Now, here's the tough one. What's your favorite candy? All right, I'll read off of this. Mine's not on here, but mine is the Bit-O Honey. I love those Bit-O Honey things with peanut butter. And here's a list: Snickers, Almond Joy, Kit Kat, Baby Ruth, Mounds. I like Mounds. Reese's peanut butter cups, like those. 3 Musketeers, Mr. Goodbar, Hershey, or Heath. Anything there grab you, or do you like the Jawbreaker?
And listen, Mr. Goodbar is my favorite chocolate all time. But I love Mr. Goodbars. But I also like the Crackle. Like it's called, it's in the yellow package, like the little Crackle one. But you asked me a question. You said, Blair, you said which coach would I want to be? That's easy. That's easy.
All right.
I would be Coach Charlie Strong, no doubt about it.
Okay.
I'm gonna take my pants and I'm gonna put some deodorant on them because that's how high they used to be. I'm gonna pull them all the way up right here, and listen, I'm gonna shave the head.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to get in the gym a little bit. I'm gonna have to get in the gym to kind of show off the muscles a little bit. Yeah. And I'm going right up to them defensive players all in their face. So didn't do what I tell. And I say that because I had a lot of great coaches, Coach D, and you know what I'm saying, Coach Rod Glass, Coach Spurrier, Coach Ron Zook, Coach Don Brecker. No coach had the two coaches that had the greatest impact on me was Coach Ty Tolbert, who I had my junior year as my tight ends coach, and Coach Strong. Coach Charlie Strong used to invite the defensive players to his house, and he would tell me to come with him. And I used to appreciate the little pep talks he used to have with me. His nickname is Tub. Like that, his nickname is Tub. Like back in the day when all the coaches had the Daisy Duke khaki shorts with the tube socks. I love Coach Strong because Coach Strong told me the truth. He didn't mince words. Very, 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 very encouraging, by the way.
Right.
It would be Coach Charlie Strong no matter what. I mean, Coach Tyke told me he's too short. I mean, I'm taller than Coach Strong and Coach Tyke. Yeah. Coach Tyke too short. But Coach Strong, man, I'm coming in looking like Tub, man. And he gonna know it's me. As soon as I walk up to him, Coach, and I'm so happy for Coach Strong, man. Like the career he had, defense coordinator in South Carolina, head coach of Texas, head coach of Louisville. Just love, he was a great dude. But yeah, I would be I mean, everybody, it would be too easy. I wouldn't want to be Coach Spurrier because I wouldn't want to have to do my voice like that the whole time. You know, the Coach Spurrier, the high pitch.
Yeah.
Spurrier. But
everybody thinks they can do Steve Spurrier.
Now, hold on.
Yeah.
Now, if I had to do a number 2, I would be Chris Patrick. CP.
Okay. All right.
So,
or I tell you what, I'd be Franz Beard. You know, I could do Franz Beard. Wait a minute, there he is.
You know what? Y'all should do that. Y'all should have went. Y'all, one of these Halloweens that they would have had y'all in there, they would have been like Franz, and Franz would have been like, I'm Buddy Martin. What? I'm Buddy. That's Franz. Because because I said this. I said this on X earlier. You made it to the big times when 2 things happen. 1, somebody impersonates you, and 2, you are somebody's Halloween costume. That's when you know you've made it. So there's a Buddy Martin walking around right now, and there's a Franz Beard giving it to some head coach, asking him a question like, listen, I don't want to hear all that fluff. What's going on with the defense? What's going on third down? Them Franz Beard, straight to the point questions.
I think that would. Yeah, I could do you, Ben. I mean, after all, we are can't relate to each other. You are my uncle. I'm your uncle, so we can.
No. You listen. You're gonna be my uncle for life. Because, like I said, I'm in Savannah, and I'm talking about you. And I said, that's my uncle right there. Yeah. And he was like this, and I said, and he's looking. I said, what are you trying to say? You trying to say we don't look alike? No. Okay. And then the guy said, you guys do kind of favor. I'm like, you know this. This what I told the guy.
I noticed the family resemblance immediately.
But here's the thing, though, Franz. This what I told the guy at the end. I said, my uncle is famous. I said, my uncle is a cartoon character. They said, who? I said, my uncle is the guy on Up. That is Buddy. Buddy Martin is the guy on Up. If you've ever seen the cartoon, hold on. I'm gonna show you the guy on Up real quick. And you tell me if this ain't Buddy Martin. The guy said, because Buddy ain't never seen the movie Up. I'm finna show you, Buddy.
All right.
Hold on.
I don't think I've seen that one.
Watch this. If I can.
All right.
I got to show you. I got to show you the cast.
Take your time. I'll get Franz to say good evening to us.
Good evening to us.
And what's your favorite candy and who you want to go as? If you're a Florida coach, who you want to go as on Halloween?
Well, I'll start with the last question first, and that's Gene Ellenson.
You want to be Gene Ellenson? He's a good one, yeah.
Yeah, that's who I would want to be. My, Coach Ellenson and I had a great friendship, and I can't think of anybody ever who carried the torch for the University of Florida more than he. Even when he got screwed over by Florida, which he did, by Dr. Stephen C. O'Connell, who, why his name is still on the O-Dome, I'll never know. I mean, Lord have mercy. If people need to go, you want to look into backgrounds on people, go look at that one. But Coach Ellen,
that's me right there. That's me. Could be me. Yeah, that'd be perfect. Be good.
Listen.
That's pretty
go ahead,
good.
Franz. I'm just saying. I said this picture better come up because I'm finna show Buddy who he is. Buddy.
All right, that's good.
Buddy, you need to watch that movie, Buddy. Up is a great film. Great, beautiful.
All right, I'll check it out now. Now, Franz, what's your favorite Halloween candy? I get it.
Reese's peanut butter cups.
Okay, well, that's one of the ones I listened to. All right, let's bring this guy on while we're waiting, and we'll all join in and talk a little Florida Georgia ball. He's a guy you can hear regularly every day, he and his tribe, and does a great job on SEC sidelines. We all know him as a member of our family here, Rob Browne. Let's see if we can get Rob on here. Evening to you, Rob. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, just listening to y'all. Ben, let's get up in the morning at 5 o'clock, hit that gym about 5:30. Get you back in shape.
No. Coach Charlie Strong, the secret to his madness is I think he runs 5 to 10 miles every day. Like he does it. He did it in Louisville. He did it in Gainesville. Let me tell you something. I love Coach Strong. I'm not running 5 miles. If I run 5 miles, right, that's going to be my last run. Because I ain't never ran 5 miles, but Coach Strong, he runs 5 miles every day. It ain't like nobody gonna stop him. Ain't nobody gonna stop him and ask, sir, where you going? That's the head coach of Texas or Louisville or the defensive coordinator for Florida. But yeah, Coach Charlie Strong easily would be my person I would and mind you, if we had to be coaches on the staff during Halloween, it'd be a lot of Coach Strongs. All you gotta do is cut your hair off and make your clothes real tight. You know what I'm saying? You got to make your clothes real tight because Coach Strong, he didn't believe in, how you tuck your shirt in and you put a little slack in it? Ain't no slack. You tuck it in. I said, is your shirt tucked into your pants? Or, because I said, dude, like, you got the highest waist to be like 5'9". That waist he got that Freddie Freeman waist. You know how Freddie Freeman got that real high waist? Yeah, that's Coach Strong. Love Coach Strong to death. I mean, he the man, and they wouldn't let us do something like that because we'll take it too serious.
I wouldn't make you run. You're too big. You do speed work. You could do
400. I had good footwork, but I'm saying I had good, but at the same time, I would still with Rob. I still would have wanted to try to beat Coach Spurrier, but I don't want the pressure because if he see you, you got to impersonate him in front of him. And Coach Spurrier, he gonna tell you if you suck or not. He ain't gonna say, that was all right. He ain't gonna do that. He gonna be like, he gonna say something like, he gonna say something like, you impersonate me like you play tight end. That wouldn't have been good. That would have hurt my confidence at that point. So,
yeah. All right. So Rob, you don't have to pick a Florida coach, but if you're gonna go as a coach for Halloween, who would you pick?
If I was gonna go,
I'm gonna tell you right now,
Ralph Shug Jordan. I don't know. I like those are guys I like, and. I would say it'd be one of them or Frank Broyles.
Right.
Frank.
You wouldn't be the little dweeb.
I don't know who that was.
Terry the Tiger. Who else?
Well,
hold on, buddy. You said I could be any coach, or I had to be a Florida coach.
Well, I said any coach, but you picked.
Hold on. If I could be any coach, I'm gonna be Mike Tomlin. If I could be any coach.
Okay.
I want to do the press card. I want to say some eloquent answers.
All right, you're Mike Tomlin. All right.
I'll be Mike Tomlin.
By the way, his daddy lived in Ocala for a number of years. I got to know his daddy pretty well, Mike Tomlin's dad. Yeah. All right. So who you got now, Rob? Who's going to be your coach?
I mean, if I'm going to be a coach, I don't know. I do like Pat Dye because he thinks a lot. I mean, he was my coach in college when I was there. I didn't play for Auburn, but that's who I just like that, like the way he ran the show. And I quote him more than anybody, him or Shug Jordan. And I think that either one of those, I'd have a great costume.
Couple of packages of dry instant grits in your mouth and your rock.
South Georgia drawl. Yeah.
Well, Michael Burton says you're going to be on Jackie Sherrill because he's on your show. So.
Yeah, that could be that. Yeah, Jackie, we talked to him Monday at the Touchdown Club. Wow, you and Brendan told me you were like the prophet because I know Jackie Sherrill back in '92 forecast the super conferences and divisions that we have basically in college football where we're going.
He was a little bit late. He was about 3 years late. I had it before then. So.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I first started talking about it in 1980. That was the New York Daily News. A friend of mine named Larry Klein, who formerly worked for the NCAA, we came up with a plan in 1980. I wrote about it multiple times over the years as a super conference one day. And the whole concept behind it was that TV is where the money is. Therefore, you have to have a product that makes you money on TV. As long as you have these bowl games don't mean anything, you're never going to get to that level. You have to have a playoff system. Well, here we are. And with that point, we have won this year. I don't know if we got a better game or not. I sometimes wonder. Let's stop it right there for a second.
Well, hang on a second. Let me add something to what you just said. Right now, Greg Sankey and Mike Slive are the geniuses of this century because they were the ones that proposed that we would expand the playoffs. Everybody said it would kill the regular season. So what do we have? The SEC right now has 13 of the 15 highest rated broadcasts so far. The SEC is making money hand over fist on that. And, TV is where the money is, buddy. And the SEC, the expansion, adding Texas and Oklahoma to this league, the expansion of the TV broadcast, getting rid of CBS and going to ABC and ESPN almost exclusively there, has just absolutely ripped and shredded everybody else. The Big Ten is sucking wind.
Yep. Well, we know it's a success in the tradition. I want you guys in the business. I want you guys to chew on this just for 30 seconds while I tell us about TitanMRI.com. Come back and tell me, but do we have a better game for all concerned? When you get down to your gut and you say, okay, yeah, we got higher ratings, we got players getting paid. Is it a better game? I know Rob's a hardcore traditionalist. Franz, you and I are too. And the question comes when you get right down to it, do we have a better game? I don't think we know that yet. A lot can depend on what happens over the next few weeks because really, folks, it's just getting started. All the things are going to happen, including the game this Saturday between the Bulldogs and Gators. Let me tell you about TitanMRI.com. If you have a need for an MRI and you're in the North Florida area, I'm going to highly recommend something. Look up TitanMRI.com. They will custom make a terrific place for you to go to get your MRI. If you're like Franz and I, particularly, we get inside one of those things and we say, oh, man, let me out of there. It's too close. They're going to try to help you with your claustrophobia. They're going to make it easier for you to come because you can't miss work. They'll custom make you an appointment at night, the weekends, whatever. And if you haven't got insurance, but you need an MRI, because when you need an MRI, you don't really have time to go out and get an insurance policy. They'll make it easier for you to pay with cash or card. TitanMRI.com. They do many good things to make your MRI much more comfortable. TitanMRI.com. Better game or not so far, Ben Troupe?
I think it is. I mean, better is subjective. When you say better, but I'm gonna keep saying what the great Franz Beard said. I think it's dumb. I think it's idiot proof. I think that once the ball kicks off, it's business as usual. We have a lot of distractions more than we've had before. I get that because social media, that's what it does. You get a lot of information and it's hard to decipher it. But when the game kicks off, if we win the game, it's one thing. If you lose the game, there's going to be a lot more scrutiny. But I don't know if it's better, but it's not worse. I just appreciate that these are the times we're in, and we got to deal with it because, like I say, when it comes to Florida and a school like this, you got to take the bitter with the sweet. At least we got good times to look back on. Certain people just look back. I don't know what they're looking back to, but we'll see what happens. But I won't say it's worse. I won't say it's better. I just think it's what we have right now.
All right, Franz Beard, better game?
I think on the field they play a great game. I think the stuff that goes on off the field hurts the game that was played on the field. I think we need to get our collective act together, starting with ditching the NCAA, because I think the NCAA, with its multitude of regulations and stuff like that, and its insanely large bureaucracy, and a president who's as clueless as the last guy, I don't think they really can grasp what's best for college football. And I think you got to put business people in charge of football to make the game better. On the field, I think it's as good as it's ever been as far as the athletes with their speed, their size, etc., like that. But we keep doing stupid stuff. Like, for example, we had a great pro game. We had a great game where we used to have time. The clock stopped after a first down. The clock stopped after out of bounds. And they said, well, we can save 3.5 minutes in a game. So what is 3.5 minutes? It's a commercial break. That's what it was. And the NCAA is the one that figured that out. And that's stupid.
Rob, better game?
The game itself, I don't think it's the technical parts of it. Offensive line play is atrocious. It's harder than I've ever seen to find good offensive linemen. I think the quarterback position is look what's happening in the NFL Bryce Young, Anthony Richardson. They're getting to the NFL and they're shoving them in there, and they don't have enough experience, and it's not working out in the NFL. So development-wise, I think we're failing. But as far as an entertaining product, golly, man, yeah, it is. Tony Barnhart and David Whitley both. It's idiot-proof. Not even the adults can screw it up. And we're also making it more popular coast to coast and everywhere in between. We're all finding ourselves doing this, guys. We're watching games we normally didn't give a damn about. We can't help it because we're thinking, wow, 12-team playoff. Wait till we go to 14. Wait till we go to 16. Same thing that happened with March Madness and college basketball is happening with college football.
Yeah, to your point, Rob, on development, this is really damning. We know about Anthony Richardson. He's been benched for the whole year now after taking himself out of the game. Shane Steichen said it's going to be Joe Flacco. Anthony said he got tired one day and took himself out of the game. I mean, that's not trending the right direction. But listen to this. Sam Block, I don't know him. He tweeted this. Listen to this. Anthony Richardson, 22, bench. Bryce Young, 23, bench. Trey Lance, 24, bench. Justin Fields, 25, bench. Will Levis, 25, bench. Zach Wilson, 25, bench. Mac Jones, 26, bench. And Kenny Pickett, 26, bench. What does that say?
Well, I can tell you what it says. It says that we've really screwed up one thing, and that was letting guys go to the NFL after 3 years. It's the same way we screwed up the transfers. I think guys should be able to transfer, but I think you need to put some wheels on the vehicle that lets them leave. For example, you can't leave if you're still taking remedial courses. You can't leave if you don't have a 2.5 without sitting out a year and things like that. We do stupid stuff, buddy. And just one more example of the stupid stuff we do.
Let's cut it to the chase to Florida, Georgia. I mean, look, everybody has good and bad luck. It's part of the game. It's football. The ball bounces a certain way. But truly speaking, I'm not giving Billy any excuses. Now to have two more starters out, he's playing against a team, ferocious Bulldogs who can rip you apart. If that wrecking ball goes the right direction for Georgia, Florida could be out of commission for the rest of the year. How does Billy deal with this? Do you think that there's enough chutzpah in the quiver of a freshman quarterback to go out there and be able to perform at a high level to at least give Georgia a game? I believe the line was 16. I'm not sure what it is now. Let's go, Ben. What do you think? Do you think they can actually give Georgia a game?
Absolutely. The thing about this game is obviously we know who the better team is on paper. We know who the better team record-wise is. But DJ Lagway, this is what he came to Florida for. Yes, he's a year ahead of schedule. He's way ahead of schedule. But he's only going to be as good as those guys around him. Going back to my senior year, we had a true freshman quarterback by the name of Chris Lee. He had to go play Georgia, and it was similar circumstance like it is now. But everybody around him got to step up their game too. Can he do it by himself? No, absolutely not. Can he do it with guys around him? Yes. Young players build confidence when the older players pick them up. That's how it was supposed to be. So I think for a guy like DJ Lagway, as long as I would not put more pressure on him that the game was going to do on his own. Don't do that. We know what this game is. Breathe. Go out there and push the ball down the field. And they got to go out there and make plays on offense, defense, and special teams. So yes, I think he can do it. But even to jump back to what y'all was saying earlier about all those quarterbacks that's getting benched. Quarterbacks get benched when they don't have time to develop in the National Football League. People talk about Aaron Rodgers. How long did he sit? Phillip Rivers. How long did he sit? You got to be able to sit and watch how the game is played. Then you go out there. You just throw me out. Because what they ain't saying is Bryce Young was number 1 overall pick, which means the Panthers was the worst team in football. Anthony Richardson was the 4th overall pick in the same draft. These are the teams they're going to. I am making no excuses for these players. But I am saying, Jaden Daniels, we'll see how the rest of the year end up. That's a one in a million. C.J. Stroud, that's the one in a million. How many quarterbacks don't make it? Most of them. So I think that when you think about these quarterbacks and their lack of development, that's the lack of patience. I got to put them in there right now. Why? Because, we're going to make who gets to be the starter in training camp? That's never happened. I'm going to make him the starter in rookie minicamp. Come on, man. So I just think that by the time a player is ready, then you put them out there. By the time these players are ready now, they beat up, banged up, confidence gone. So, like I said, you pay them the money so they got to go out there and get it done. But you put good players on good teams and you develop those guys around, they got a shot to be good. Because if not, last time I checked, Patrick Mahomes, he waited a year, didn't he? Who did he learn under? Alex Smith. Who was his coach? Andy Reid. That stuff matters. So I think that Anthony Richardson best days are still ahead of him, just like a Bryce Young. It might not be with the Colts, might not be with the Panthers, but I just think that to throw a player away after a sample size, and Anthony Richardson ain't even played that much football in college and in the pros. You ready to give up on him now? Anthony Richardson need to go to media training classes, not football. He need to go to the Franz Beard. You got to learn how to lie in a press conference. You don't tell us the whole truth all the time, young man. We know you are God-fearing, trustworthy young man. Hey, why did you come out the game? Man, I thought my ankle was messed up. I was tired. No, Donovan McNabb, you can tie in a football game. Don't tell the truth. This is the NFL, but I think that DJ Lagway can get it done. I think DJ Lagway gives us our offense a chance to push the ball and to have rhythm. And I think if you are the team around him, you got to go out there and play for 4 quarters. And in the words of Ron Zook, can you take a punch? Yes, sir. Can you deliver one? Yeah, you're going to have to do that for 4 quarters. You got to take punches and deliver punches for 4 quarters. And at the end of the day, at the end of the game, spit your blood out and let's see who's going to have the most points. And hopefully that's what Florida willing to do. And DJ Lagway if we sitting here on Monday or Sunday morning and Florida done won, good Lord. That's going to be – because like I say, ask Kentucky, do they want that Georgia game back? I bet you they do. And the refs, some home cooking going on in that game, even though they was at Kentucky. I'm not comparing Florida to none of those schools, but I do think DJ Lagway is good enough to get us there. But it got to be a group effort. If it's a group effort, we got to shine out. And I'm sending my prayers up to Jason Marshall, man. I know he's out for the rest of the year, man. He was having a good year this year, so my sympathies to him. I know it's rough. Your senior year, man. You want to have a good year.
Yeah, Franz. Rob talks to everybody about all the SEC teams, a lot of different people around the league. And what are you hearing about Florida from these other media guys, Rob? And people you talk to in the SEC sideline show?
Well, I think a lot of people are saying maybe Billy Napier has bottomed out, and I know a lot of Florida people don't want to hear that. But DJ Lagway, like Ben saying, he's a stud. This guy is a special talent, and he's going to be the starter this year, next year, and the year after that. That'll be a resume, to go into the NFL. But what you hear about Florida too is talent. They've got talent, but they got to get depth on the line of scrimmage. But that's the problem that everybody else has. It's so hard. There's maybe 25 good offensive linemen out there, really good ones. So you got to develop them, and you can't do it in the portal. There are a few players available. So Florida's in the same boat with a lot of other SEC schools. How you can't microwave them. You got to slow cook them. It's like cooking brisket, hour a pound. Takes a long time. Ben knows that. Y'all know that. Developing an offensive lineman, a tight end. It is. We're rushing these offensive linemen. They're not ready, and then the quarterbacks have to run for their lives. So but what you hear about Florida is, even with this tough schedule, it's not the toughest schedule I've ever seen. Everybody you get caught on logo fever. The talk about Florida among all these other schools, and we talk with everybody during the week, is they've got a quarterback. And they've got one of the best young quarterbacks in college football. And he might be better than Nico Iamaleava. In my opinion, he is. He throws a better deep ball. He's just got – Nico's good, But Tennessee's had 3 straight games. They hadn't scored a point in the first half. I'll take DJ Lagway. That's my quarterback. In my opinion, is the best talent of any freshman quarterback I've seen in a long, long time. Mentally, guys, I just think he's got it. He's got the package. Most important 6 inches for that guy is between the ears, and he's got it.
Franz, what's going to happen Saturday?
Well, here's the deal. If Florida can block the people off the edge, they're going to have an advantage, have a certain advantage when they got the ball offensively, because DK and Badger run like blue streaks. And I guarantee you those safeties, with the way that DJ Lagway can throw a deep ball, if they can block the edges, those safeties for Georgia are going to have to play, instead of playing 9-10 yards off the line of scrimmage, so where they can basically play in the box, they're going to be playing 15 to 18 yards off the line of scrimmage, which opens up the running game. And if Florida doesn't have to have a great running game, Spurrier used to have one of the greatest things I've ever heard. He said a great running game doesn't mean you ran for 200 yards. It means when you had 3rd and 2, you got it. When you had 4th and 1, you got it. That's a great running game. Eric Rhett, I don't remember ever getting stuffed on 3rd and 1. I do not recall him ever doing it. It may have happened, but I don't recall.
I'm with you. I don't either.
If Florida can get to a point where they can convert the 3rd and 1s, they got a puncher's chance. Defensively, here's the deal. Carson Beck is so full of himself, starting from when he went back to the Manning Passing Academy and showed up in a Lamborghini wearing a Rolex with his agent demanding a 5-star hotel instead of him staying in the barracks or the dormitories like everybody else. He is so full of himself. He's thrown more interceptions this year than he threw in 14 games last year.
Did he have 6 the last 2 games?
He's had
Correct.
a few.
6. He said 6.
And guess what else? He has had at least 6 interceptions dropped by the other team. So, can Florida get some pressure on it? Can they do it? They can win the game. But here's the other thing that goes with that defense. Those 2 guys in the middle, Pup Howard, Shamar James. If they don't miss tackles, if they are making tackles and putting people on the ground, Florida is in the game. It's pretty simple. You make tackles, get a little pressure, stop the pressure on the other end, make the safeties play back. You're going to be okay. Win it? I don't know. But be okay? Yeah. And if they're okay, Billy Napier will be here next year. Bank it.
Yeah, Larry Gross brings up an important point. Two safeties for Georgia are out the first half with suspended, so that's one thing. Now, look, I mean, all right, I'm going to give you both about 10 seconds to give me a score. Florida, Georgia, 2024. Georgia's a 16-point favorite.
14 and a half.
Is it down to 14 now? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, give me a score. Who wants to go first?
Oh, my God. I just have seen this happen so much talked about the other team. As Franz just said, we can block those edges. We can have a solid run game. We can push the ball down the field. I didn't even know those 2 safeties was out for the first half. I mean, that'll definitely help. I think Florida got a shot, man. And here go my orange and blue glasses again. But I think DJ Lagway and company got a shot. 31-28 Florida in a shock.
Wow. Okay, we got a Rob. I see you scratching your head.
I got it. I think Florida will put up a good fight. I just think Georgia, they're healthier on defense, especially on the line. And Etienne is a nasty, lethal running back. Tom Petty's wayward son, the lookalike Carson Beck, He's had 6 interceptions the last 2 games, but I still got Georgia to win 32-21, which means they ain't covering. If the game's close going in the fourth quarter, if Florida can keep it close though, within a touchdown going in the fourth quarter, you know what? This could be the game that DJ Lagway does what Georgia did with Lindsey Scott in 1980. Something crazy could happen, but that's a big if. And I just think Georgia, they threw Texas around like a great white shark with a seal pup in its mouth. That was ugly, and Texas did not like getting hit like that. Well, Florida can dish it out; they're used to the grind. But I still got Georgia in this game. But it's what percentage of the time in this rivalry is there an upset, like a real upset? Can y'all name those?
2002, I know it was an upset because that was Ron Zook's first year. Georgia lost one game day.
2003, same thing. Georgia was highly favored.
It was similar, and I think the thing is, Rob, too. I mean, listen. At the end of the day, I want to see a good game. I want to see a full court. I don't want to see no blowouts. But I just think that I do agree. It goes back to what Buddy Martin said before the season. He said it's something about this DJ kid. It's something about this kid, and I want the world to see what he's been showing. Just, man, play with no fear, young man. Go out there and do what you do. Force them safeties to back up. And listen, if those starting safeties come back into the game in the second half, I want it to be because them backup safeties ain't getting it done. So we'll see.
Yeah. And I asked that question. So there's probably, 97 was an upset. 07 for Georgia was, but doesn't the better team on paper usually win this rivalry?
Not always.
Not always. 2015, Florida wins. 2014, Will Muschamp gets in there with Treon Harris, runs for 450 yards on the Poodles. And Florida only threw 6 passes the entire game, none in the second half. And the Poodles went limping back home. They didn't know which leg to hike on the fire hydrant.
So basically, most people are not giving Florida nationally much of a chance. That's why I'm asking this question. I'm trying to go somewhere with this. So, there's been some upsets, but it's a DJ Lagway's that good of a quarterback, guys. He's kind of a little bit of. You played with Chris Leak. God, that guy had a great arm. He's so underappreciated. I think he's appreciated at Florida, but I don't think Chris Leak is appreciated. A kid out of Charlotte, North Carolina, Independence High School, if I'm not mistaken. But that dude could throw the ball. And this is an awesome rivalry. For fans that didn't go to Florida or Georgia, watching it is what college football is all about. And I don't want to be a hypocrite because I wanted the Iron Bowl moved on campus for Auburn and Alabama, but different circumstances in the same state, man. Living with Alabama is like your bunkmate, man. You're just in each other's face all the time. But this should be the national game of the week. It's that big a game. It is every year, regardless of record. Border war. I love it.
I'm gonna get Francis pick, but I think somebody asked about the line. Franz, I haven't got the latest line. You
14.5.
14. The point spread is 14.5.
It's dropped 3.5 points. It's dropped 3.5 points since Sunday.
Yeah, over under is 52.5 is what I'm hearing here. So that's
the way the money's going, I would expect it'll be 12 by Saturday. But the odds makers, what people don't realize, the odds makers, what they do is they move the money to try to get it as even as possible, to give them the best chance to cover. I think this is going to be a football game that if Florida can do some things early on, Florida's got a chance. Yep. Do I think the Gators will win? Unfortunately, I do not. But I think the game is going to be ultra tight. I think Georgia is going to get exposed as they have been already by Alabama and by Kentucky. They have been exposed. They are not the super team they were billed to be when the season began. They're not the best team in the Southeastern Conference. Unfortunately, as much as I hate to say it, that is the Texas A&M Aggies, who right now can beat anybody in the country. Straight up, they will kick their butts, period. And I got to tell you right now, Florida can win this game. I don't think the Gators will. I think it's going to be something like 28-24, Georgia. But I think Florida is going to score the ever-loving bejabbers out of Georgia and give Lane. I guarantee you, Lane Kiffin's going to be sitting there taking notes and watching this film. And when Georgia comes to Oxford, Lane Kiffin is going to lay an upset trap. And Georgia is going to go down in flames.
All right, so I got 28-21 Georgia. We got Ben picking Florida. You're the only one, I think. Rob? You picked Georgia, right?
31-22.
Yeah, so
That'll be 32-21.
Okay.
Well,
All right, guys. Anything you want to say before we check it off tonight and end up with Ren Star? And good job, good program tonight. Thank you for all your contributions. Appreciate it, Ben and Rob and Franz. Y'all have a good night. Enjoy the game this weekend. And hey, things happen. It's Halloween, right?
And tomorrow.
And I got to say this because Franz can hear me. Shout out to the Dodgers for doing God's work, getting rid of the evil empire. They beat the evil empire. 2009 is a long time ago, people. Shout out to my guy, Freddie Freeman. He's no longer a Brave.
Hey, claim Freddie Freeman. Don't you start trying to claim Freddie.
Buddy, hold on, buddy. And now that the baseball season is officially over, now I can talk trash to Buddy Mark again. The Braves are going back. Just watch and see. We'll see.
Hey, tomorrow, for those who want to know, my annual Why I Hate Georgia and Why You Should Too column will be there. And trust me, as I say in my column, General Sherman made one tragic mistake when he burned his way down from Atlanta to Savannah. He didn't detour 45 miles east to Athens, Georgia, burn down the University of Georgia, and salt the earth so nothing would grow there for 100 years.
Yeah.
I despise the Poodles. To this day, I would pull for Al-Qaeda against them.
He's not better, though. All right, Franz. Glad to hear
I'm
you.
objective.
All right,
I'm
Francis.
objective.
All the best to you and your family, friends, and you guys take care. I love you. Talk to you soon. Enjoy the game. All right. Thank you. All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. All right, we're going to wrap up the program now and tell you about our friends at Ren Star, who do a terrific job in their community, and also for the people who would need a better health care. They have my interest at heart and yours, particularly since we live in Ocala, Gainesville area. They've been doing this a long time. They sponsor my program. I think this is the 8th or 9th year. But the good people over there, they're very Gator-oriented. Scott Brantley's wife, Mary, by the way, shout out to Scott Brantley. He's been under the weather. All the best thoughts and prayers to Scott. And Joe Sorrentino. And Mary went to high school together in Fort Lauderdale and came up here and started this business. And Ren Star Medical Research has become a staple in our community, both as a stakeholder and, of course, a company that takes our welfare. They want you to know the importance of clinical research trials, which they've been specializing in for a long time. Over 800 of them they've done. They deal in all kinds of things that are pertaining to us. And they'd like you to partake of them if you can, because they want data from this area to use. They send off to these companies to get the information they need for prescriptions. So check it out at renstar.net and see if there's something you could take part in a clinical research trial. You, in some cases, will be compensated for time and travel. Also, you'll get investigational medicines and sometimes equipment other people won't get. No charge to your insurance. You need to know these people are very sincere about making us healthier. Ren Star Medical Research, seeking tomorrow's answers to the health questions of today. Thank you to our terrific panel tonight. Ben Troupe, Franz Beard, and also Rob Browne. We'll have Lauren Meadows back next week. Take care. Enjoy the weekend, folks.